a tech founder just said something that should make you pause and rethink your career strategy. Because he came out and he said CEOs are going to do 20% of their workforce layoffs this year, 20% next year, 10% the year after. And this isn't about doom and being like, yo, you're going to be unemployed. This video is about to wake you up and say, yo, I gotta get my network going. I gotta get my relationships in place. So if that does happen, I am gonna be good. And so most people still think layoffs are temporary. They're not gonna affect me. They always affect somebody else till it hits them. And then they're like, okay, I'm gonna do DoorDash once that's gonna hit me, and my area's booming and all these restaurants are packed. So I should be fine. But here is what nobody's telling you, that CEOs are planning cuts years out. They're not restructuring, they're cutting workforce entirely. And if companies are planning 20% cuts now and another 20 next year, that's not panic, that's strategy on their part. And why is this going on? AI replacing workers, efficiency pressure from investors, higher cost of capital with higher interest rates. They need to perform slower growth. Expectancy is coming. So they're like, hey, we got to make sure that our margins are protected. So let's watch Andrew Yang, tech founder, basically talking about exactly what I just went over.
I talked to a CEO of a publicly traded tech company. He said, we're going to fire 15% of our workers. And then 2 years from now, we're going to fire another 20%. And then 2 years after that, we're going to fire another 20%. He's like, after that, don't know. And I take him at his word. You know what I mean? CEOs are going to have to be ruthless on headcount if they want to keep their own jobs and if they want their stock to be healthy. If you've been inside one of these large corporations, you kind of sense instinctively 40% of the people aren't really indispensable, shall we say. So I think publicly traded companies are going to fire white collar workers very, very quickly. And the easiest people to fire are the people you haven't hired yet. So that they're not going to hire a bunch of whippersnappers. And that's showing up in the numbers where the college premium is quickly evaporating.
So this is very interesting what he said. So he said that these companies, when you're thinking about it, it's like, okay, we're not going to hire new people because then we don't need to fire them. They're not even on our books. So we're going to cut out the junior people and these college grads. So then why even bother with them if we can hire just senior people? And what we're going to start doing is we're cutting 15% now and 15% later on. And if I want to keep the job as a CEO, I need to do what everybody else is I need to do what everybody else is doing. And so it is naive to think that your company or your workplace doesn't do it. So my tip to these people is go on Google News and find out your competitors, and you should know that already, and put in notifications to see what your competitors are doing. If your competitors are starting to lay off people, it's like, okay, one competitor is laying off people, maybe they lost a contract or something else. But then if your other competitors also start doing layoffs, then it's like, ooh, layoffs might come to a place near me. So be prepared and get your network going and start talking to other people and trying to get to as close to revenue as possible. And now let's look at this other lady that's 41 years old, has an MBA from an Ivy League school, and can't get a job. Let's look at this one.
The economy's bad when you have an Ivy League MBA, when you're 41 years old with industry experience, you can't get a job. Like, no callbacks, no screening from the recruiter. So here I am on Saturday night, and I've had a little bit of wine, and I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to sign up for DoorDash, not to order a DoorDash order, but to become a DoorDasher. And I see that my neighborhood Trader Joe's is hiring for a sales associate, a crew member, and so is Costco. So I'm going to see if I have any luck in retail. Wish me luck. Let's see how this goes.
So you're seeing it. MBA can't find a job, now turning to DoorDash. So what does that do to everybody else? And she's going to go and trying to get a job at Trader Joe's or Costco. So first of all, DoorDash is going to get way more competitive, and then there's going to be more people for the same amount of orders. That's going to put downwards pressure on price because there's a lot of people want to do DoorDash and not a lot of people wanting to order or the same amount. Obviously, downwards pressure. Now, if she's with her MBA gonna apply at Trader Joe's as a clerk and doing cash register, that is gonna take a job from somebody else. Because if you're a business, you're like, okay, why do I not want this lady with an MBA working at Trader Joe's rather than somebody coming out of high school or college and can give him some experience because this lady obviously is qualified and brings some fresh perspective, MBA and everything, and so that's going to take a job from somebody else. So, the saturation problem. When layoffs happen, people move to gig work. They go to freelance, they go to side hustles, and if everybody does the same thing, what is the result of all of that? Uber gets saturated, DoorDash is saturated, freelance platforms are saturated. The backup plan becomes the overcrowded plan. So, yeah, this is where we're at in the economy, guys, where it is just saturated wherever you look. That video that this lady recorded was a few days ago. So, this is the follow up of her. Let's watch it.
I'm doing it. I decided I would sign up for DoorDash last night and I'm going to do it. I'm 41. I've been unemployed for a while and just feeling really bad about myself and embarrassed, but I shouldn't be. It's going to be fine. I can do the job and I can earn some money immediately instead of sitting at home on Sunday, just feeling like low key depressed about everything.
So, you've seen her. She's signed up. She's going to do it. And yeah, this is where we're at, where people run to DoorDash, they run to Uber Eats, they're trying to make some money quick. And the funny part is, this person, if you've been unemployed for a while, you fall off the statistics. So, what is happening? AI efficiency. Companies move to fewer people, and these fewer people are expected to do more work. Corporate pressure, Wall Street, private money, they are expecting higher margins, fewer employees, and higher efficiency. The hiring reset is happening as we speak. Post 2020, overhiring is being corrected. It isn't companies struggling, it's companies recalibrating. And it is a race to AI, like the general artificial intelligence in your field. If you can get that done and executed, you are going to be very well off. And we all know that these AI tools and these computing companies, it really, really takes a lot of capital. And so the easiest way to do that is cut headcount and then invest into that. And the funny part is, you don't have to believe in AI. And you can be like, you know what? This is all hocus pocus and it sucks. And that is your choice. But if your leaders at your companies are saying that this is the future, and even if they're wrong, even if in 5 years everybody's going to come out and say AI is a hoax, it was a stupid thing to do, at the end of the day, you still lost your job. And here is the kicker, the system is actually broken. Most people apply online, send resumes, wait. And now the weakest, and that is the weakest strategy because thousands of applications per job, ghost listing, ATS screens. And if you're applying online, you're competing with everyone. And I've had recruiters on the channel that I showed videos, got 1,000 applications within an hour of applying. And the real advantage is now in 2026, even more is your network. Your network basically becomes your net worth because it's not generic. You should build a network before you need it. Referrals matter more than resumes because some people say, oh, these are old ghost job listings. And I don't actually think that. I actually think that some of these listings, companies have internal policies. They have to have a job listing out for 10, 15 days so people can apply. But sometimes they already got the candidate. And so they're like, I got this guy, I got this friend, or I know this guy, he's a rock star in his field. Let's hire him. They hold the interviews, and then they're like, well, out of legality and policy, we just have to post the job, even though we already know who we're going to hire. And hiring is shifting towards trust. We're seeing that more and more, that these hiring managers are looking at who can do the job best. And internal recommendations bypass competition. If you already know that, hey, this guy is a rock star, he can code like nobody else, and then they're like, okay, let's see what he can do, talks to the manager, does all that, and then they go to HR and says, we want to hire this person, and they're like, okay, let's put the job description out, do all that, and it's still happening today. So don't fool yourself and being like, oh, these are all ghost job listings. You just want to be the candidate that they really, really want. An Ivy League and MBA does not equal a job in 2026. The right connections equal opportunities. And I've been stressing that for a long, long time now on my channel, that you have to build relationships. And it is not just saying like, hey, how's it going? And then have a coffee break and chit chat with people. It is going beyond that. And whenever you're going to go out and have the opportunity to meet more people, you have to ask meaningful questions, not just, hey, what do you do? And then, hey, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. Okay. And then you kind of move on. You have to ask these questions that I had in a previous video that are way better. Hey, what is the most surprising thing you heard the last 30 days? Or what what have you been looking at? Or what are your hobbies? Or what's where your next vacation destination? Something like that, where it's open ended. And once it's open ended, you can ask follow-up questions. And when you ask follow-up questions, all of a sudden you can make a connection. I mean, like, hey, I'm going to um Phoenix for a vacation or for this conference, or I'm going to Atlanta. Oh man, you're going to Atlanta? I love that city. That's where I used to go travel to also. Where are you staying? Oh my gosh, we've been to the same place, and you make connections that way. And that is why building relationships is so important. Then, if you're already in a company, you want to move closer to revenue, sales, growth, business critical roles where you're like, okay, if they're going to cut, they cannot cut these places or these jobs because these are the lucrative one. 3 months savings is also not enough. You need 6 to 12 because it's going to take you time if you do not have that relationship buffer. And what I'm looking at is like people that reach out to me. And when Ali used to do her career coaching, I learned a few valuable lessons. I've seen a lot of people forego opportunities, and they didn't realize what opportunities were till they lost it. And so I saw this 60-minute interview about this shipping yard in Pennsylvania where they're training people and they're actually paying them. I think they're doing 20 at a time. And they're like, we're looking for people, pipe fitters, welders, blue collar gigs, because we need to get our shipyards manufacturing up. And there's still jobs out there, but the jobs that are six figures and you just kind of sit on your desk, you roll in at 9:15, you have a meeting at 11 or 10 o'clock to 11, and then at 11 you go to lunch for 2 hours, you come back at 1, you pack up and you head home and you answer a few more emails and make six figures. Those jobs are 1 in 1,000. Used to, you can get these jobs easily at Meta, at Google, at all these other places when they were overhiring, or at tech companies, not necessarily Meta or Google, but at tech companies in the Bay Area, and they were just paying ridiculous amounts of salaries. And now we're seeing that these days, think about it again. You have to truly, truly provide value. And yeah, there's still gigs out there, but you got to relocate. You got to train new skills. And actually, let me show you the video of the shipyard right now.
This work is grueling. freezing in winter, scorching in summer, and it's dangerous. And while the yard has a training program, it can only train 20 or so new hires at a time, and it takes 3 years. Still, apprentices Justin, Jeff, and Meg told us this beats their old jobs.
I worked at Amazon as a grocery picker.
Before this job, I was a cake decorator at a bakery.
And a nanny.
And a nanny as well. Yes, I worked many jobs.
If you were to pitch this job and this place to a friend, what would you say?
I would tell my friend that instead of paying out of pocket to go to a trade school, you're getting paid while you learn here the entire time.
They pay you?
Yes,
And healthcare.
And healthcare, which is amazing.
But aren't the conditions really harsh?
Not the easiest work. Like, I go home, granted, I'm more tired, but it's more fulfilling to me. Makes you feel like you're part of something bigger.
So you've seen it. This is what is happening. People are like, yeah, I got this gig, it's paying me, it's blue collar, it is welding, it is pipe fitters, it is basically building boats or ships. And what do? You work, because they'll tell you how many welds did you do, how many pipes did you fit. If you can't meet the quota, not that great. And so you're seeing it. You have to produce. This is the economy of performance. And just showing up to fill a body, to be like standing there, these days are gone. There are going to be jobs where you just monitor AI agents coming up, but I think that's way too early where they're going to pay you 6 figures just to watch AI do its thing. But yeah, this is the world we are living in. So if you want a gig and you're like, man, it's been unemployed for a long time, look at relocating. Look at one of these industries that really, really need people. And it's not going to be the most glorious job. And he even said it. It is brutal. It is sweat. He's sweating. He's definitely more tired at night. But that's what happens when you get a paycheck. You just kind of got to do what you got to do to feed your family. Yeah, that's what I've always been saying. You have to do the right thing. And what do I mean by the right thing? You have to produce. You have to go out there and work. But yeah, this is the economy in 2026, where the freebies are kind of done. Unless you open up a Leering Center in Minnesota, then I guess you can do that. But for most common people, you really, really gotta perform. Yeah, that's kind of my tip. Get your network ready, trying to make meaningful connections at the office. And if you are remote, you got to be as close to revenue as possible. And don't be shy of moving away and taking opportunities in another state if they are good. You just have to execute them the right way. And yeah, if you have any questions and you're like, man, I watched for this long, if you respond within the first hour or so of the video or the first day, then I will leave you a voice note. But if you're gonna see this video a few days and leave me a comment, I've already kind of moved on. So make sure that when my video comes out and you want a voice note from me, that you click the video when it comes out, and then you're like, okay, here we go. And yeah, leave your comment, leave your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one.